Hi. So I wanted to chat a little bit about pregnancy milestones, changes in the body, things like that, things that we as birthing people can expect to have happen during the course of time that we are growing a little one. Some of this is a little bit heavy, so I'm going to try to make it really easy to understand, easy to go along with. It's a lot of information, so bear with me. But when we are pregnant with a baby, there are immediate changes, right? We have hormones going a wild array of directions. We've got estrogen going through the body. We've got HGC. We've got an increase in our blood volume. We're hungry. We're tired. We're nauseous, all of these things. And at the same time, while some of those things sound pretty yucky in the grand scheme of the whole scenario, they're all good signs. Of course, if there's excessive vomiting and or excessive amounts of nausea, that's something that we want to make sure that is addressed so that you can have the best experience possible while growing your baby. But I wanted to kind of start talking about the multiple systems of the body in relation to when you're pregnant. So first off, let's talk a little bit about the circulatory system and the placental function. So what your placenta is doing, what your circulatory system is doing while you are pregnant. So first off, the uterus is a massively, massively large organ. It's very strong. And the reason we know this is because in order to grow a baby, it has to have the ability to stretch. All of our other organs, they move out of the way while the uterus grows larger as baby grows larger. As that home for your baby grows, everything else grows, not really grows, but makes way, because the placenta and your uterus are the number one thing we want to take care of, right? Number one thing in your body that is kind of causing everything else to change. So because of that, well, in the uterus, we've got not only oxygen, but we've got nutrients and we've got waste. And we have to think about how all of those things kind of work within the body while you're making your baby and what that does in your body as well, kind of how the two work hand in hand. And the main way that this works is through not only the placenta, but the umbilical cord. The umbilical cord is the easiest and the only real transfer between you and your baby. So that means, we've got uterine veins, we got arteries. The placenta is the first time that the mom and or birthing person work together in tandem. It truly is teamwork. Every organ system goes through a significant amount of change, and the arteries and the umbilical vein, all of that encased in the Wharton's jelly, that really thick kind of jelly part of the umbilical cord, is what makes the transfer of nutrients between you and your baby key. So that's a massive change that we're already dealing with. That's pretty much from the time of conception. The next thing we want to talk about is the cardiovascular system, what your heart's doing. Your body needs way more blood because not only are you working as your own personal body, but you've got a little person that you're now supporting. So you've got your blood system and you've got baby's blood system. And because of that, your blood volume is going to increase by about 40 to 50%. It's pretty wild. And because of that, your heart rate is going to increase. There's more blood that's being pumped through your heart. So that volume is, causing your heart to work a little harder. And that's okay, because again, it's working for a reason. Your blood pressure decreases, and that's generally due to the hormone progesterone in the body that's working to help grow your baby. Usually when you're lying on your back is when your cardiovascular system, the heart, is working a little bit harder, right? So we have a bit of a wives' tale and a bit of research to say, don't lay on your back when you're pregnant. There has been more research and there has been more studies to show that, if you are laying on your back, especially like later in pregnancy when baby is heavier, organs are a little bit out of the way, your blood is going to be pumping harder, right? And with the weight of baby leaning back, especially on on the back of the spine, it's going to cut off some blood flow, which will make you feel dizzy. It's like when you stand up too fast and you don't have enough time for all of that blood to kind of rush, or to not rush, but to go softly from one place to the next. Your body has a natural reaction of kind of like saying, no, this is not where I want to be. This is not a good idea. How about I don't lay down? So while we don't suggest that you lay down fully on your back when you're maybe in the later terms of pregnancy, you absolutely can. Just maybe limit the amount of time. Just be really cognizant of how you feel. Take note. It's really important to make sure that you are feeling comfortable and you're just, really in tune with your body in that sense. With that, we've got also the bladder. As a lot of women know, and or birthing people know, towards the end of pregnancy, not even towards the end, but maybe in the second trimester, your bladder becomes a little crushed, right? Baby is sitting right on top of that bladder, which increases urine output. That's not the worst thing. Although it's uncomfortable, we don't want to be holding in a lot of urine in the bladder because there's always a higher risk, especially during pregnancy, of a UTI. We really, really want to make sure that urine production is expelled. Don't want to hold on to all of those nutrients and waste that are not needed. Essentially, they're waste products. So another thing in cardiovascular changes, just to kind of go back, is around 20 weeks gestation, the uterus has grown to compress the inferior vena cava. That's what I was trying to say earlier in regards to feeling that lightheadedness. When the uterus has grown to that size, when you lean back, that's what we're pinching, is that blood supply that goes up into the heart. So that's why you feel a little bit more lightheaded, essentially, in that area. Along with the respiratory rates the cardiovascular rates, your respiration is changing. You are increasing in your oxygen production and consumption by like 20 to 30% more, because again, you're passing that along to your baby. So then your CO2 output is higher, your carbon dioxide output is higher. Because of all of these things, we have renal changes as well. With your liver, we've got higher progesterone. We've got an increase in vein size. And because of this, urine production in the kidneys, urine production needs to be expelled. Kidney issues and just monitoring the amount of urine output is super significant in helping us determine, if there's something that's going on there, or if, we're at risk of UTIs. Again, really want to try to avoid that. But if it does happen, for the most part, it is probably just due to not expelling your bladder as much as we would like. And there's so many resources to kind of talk about these milestones, when you're going to feel these things, and when you want to start paying attention to a lot of these things. And the main resources I would say are the best would be definitely apps. As much as I like to hold a book in my hand and really reference a page or a paragraph, I think it's really cool that technology has advanced to such a degree that we can have it on our phone, right? We carry our phones everywhere. They're everybody's lifeline in a sense. So with that said, there are so many apps, and I think every app kind of lends itself to each person in different ways, right? So the apps that I have seen a lot of people use, a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends, a lot of my family members, there is the Bump, Hello Baby, Ovia, which is pretty new. I haven't actually used that one yet. WebMD, I'm going to put a little caveat here. I think it's a great resource. I wouldn't use it as an actual, be all end all. I would kind of take it with a grain of salt. And then also the What to Expect app, the classic What to Expect when you're expecting books. All of those books have been kind of generated into an app, which I think is great because it's so easy to access. You can go to a certain chapter. They can talk about certain milestones. You don't have to flip through a rather large book. And then also just YouTube. YouTube is harboring a plethora of information surrounding your body. There are so many informational videos. There are a lot